But what if Hamlet had survived and occupied the throne? Young princes turn into old kings. King Lear is, in my view, Shakespeare's hardest hitting play, and the most extraordinary. It is a relentless, terrible story of a terrible man, a frightening godfather turned child king. It is a family tragedy too, with all its implications. The Sopranos and House of Cards teach us all there is to know about how power shapes relationships. The writing was already on the wall 400 years earlier. Lear's story is a warped fairy tale, with a bad ending, of course, about an aging king. He has 3 daughters and decides to give up his crown, dividing his kingdom between them. Before he does so, he asks them a question no parent would ever ask his children. Which of you, shall we say, doth love us most? Only his youngest, Cordelia, answers this impossible question truthfully. But the foolish king does not appreciate it. Now our joy, although the last, not least, to whose young love the vines of France and milk of Burgundy strive to be interest. What can you say? To draw a third more opulent than your sisters. Speak! Nothing. My lord? Nothing? Nothing. Nothing will come of nothing. Speak. Again. Unhappy that I am. I cannot heave my heart into my mouth. I love your majesty according to my bond. No more, no less. How, Cordelia? Mend your speech a little, lest it may mar your fortunes. Good, my lord. You have begot me, bred me, loved me. I return these duties back as our right fit. Obey you, love you, and most honour you. Why have my sisters husbands if they say they love you all? Haply, when I shall wed, that lord, whose hand must take my plight, shall carry half my love with him, half my care and duty. Sure, I shall never marry like my sisters, to love my father all. But goes thy heart with this? Aye, good my lord. So young, and so untender? So young, my lord, and true. Let it be so. Thy truth, then, be thy dower. For by the sacred radiance of the sun, the mysteries of Hecate and the night, by all the operation of the orbs from whom we do exist and cease to be, here I disclaim all my paternal care, propinquity and property of blood, and as a stranger to my heart and me, hold thee from this forever. And so in this merciless tragedy of love, Lear needs to learn a very important lesson. He needs to learn and to hear what, as Shakespeare puts it in one of his sonnets, silent love hath writ. That nothing, Cordelia speaks out, means the world, but he doesn't see it, or when he does, it is far too late. It's the beginning of the end for him, for his family, and for the kingdom, the body politic as a whole. Whilst his 2 elder daughters try to outdo each other in professing an affection they do not feel, the youngest, Cordelia, says nothing. What shall Cordelia do? Love and be silent. She knows true love need not be spoken and should not be bandied about and assessed, especially when it comes to parents and children. But Lear does not understand. He banishes her and will lose her at the end of the play, the ultimate price to pay for any human being after losing his power, having been rejected by the other daughters, who hate each other anyway, and all those who loved him. He ends up a poor, bare, forked creature, his mind lost, his heart withered, his kingdom gone forever. So Lear is not a play for the faint-hearted. It has the scope of a Greek tragedy, in the sense that the greatness of the protagonist, in terms of status anyway, is only matched by the depth of his tragic fall and the pity he provokes. You see, tragedy needs that connection more than any other genre. It puts the finger on the pulse of what it means to be a human being and to connect with other human beings. A degree of failure and pain is common to us all, and it defines us all too. But what is Shakespeare doing here? Not providing any solution if we are looking for consolation and for the meaning of life as such. He does not provide any clear moral lessons either, unlike his Greek predecessors. Rather, Shakespeare follows the advice Hamlet gives the players he calls to Elsinore to reenact the murder of his father. The purpose of all drama, through any genre, is to tell the truth, simply and mercilessly, as Hamlet puts it, to hold, as it were, a mirror up to life, and realize what it means to face the failure of love. But this is not all. Lear is also a play about the failure of language. Now, this sounds like a contradiction in terms. Words must matter to a playwright and to Shakespeare and his contemporary audience, who would talk about hearing a play. If Hamlet's last word is silence, nothing is the word that pervades Lear's tale. Oh, and never, too. At the end of this tragic arc, Lear has learned the meaning of love. As he holds his dead daughter in his arms, something I doubt he ever did when she was alive, he learns to love again. But it is too late. She will never be again. And there will never be anything left to say. As Lear himself puts it, never, 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 never. King Lear is the perfect tragedy for the modern world, depicting the tragedy of aging, of losing oneself and one's child, and the inability to love, until it is too late. Again, as Hamlet tells us, the rest is silence. Now, King Lear compares very well with the absurd, nihilistic dramas of the 20th century. Beckett's Waiting for Godot, a play in which two tramp-like figures wait by a tree, stuck in an empty landscape, desperately hoping there might be something to be done about the human condition, are in fact inhabiting Lear's world, showing once more that Shakespeare is not of an age, but for all time. Godot is a play in 2 acts, in which nothing happens twice. The two tramps are allegories of humanity. And so we all wait, hopeful for a better day, neglecting our present happiness for the sake of a future which might never come. Beckett's writing is sober, simple, concise, precise, essential and unforgiving. Act 1. A country road. A tree. Evening. Estragon, sitting on a low mound, is trying to take off his boot. He pulls at it with both hands, panting. He gives up, exhausted, rests, tries again, as before. Enter Vladimir. Estragon, giving up again. Nothing to be done. Vladimir, advancing with short, stiff strides, legs wide apart. I'm beginning to come round to that opinion. All my life I tried to put it from me, saying, Vladimir, be reasonable. You haven't yet tried everything, and I resume the struggle. He broods, musing on the struggle, turning to Estragon. There you are again. Estragon. Am I? Vladimir. I'm glad to see you back. I thought we were gone forever. Estragon. Me too. Vladimir. Together again, at last. We'll have to celebrate this. But now... Oh, get up till I embrace you. Estragon. irritably. "Not now, not now." It's a tragic comic tale, which, in a nutshell, sums up Lear's world. Empty, pointless, tragic. We all hurt. Beckett tells us that if our feet hurt, we should not blame our shoe for the shape of our foot. There are certain things that, tragically, we can't change about ourselves. We are no more than a little heap of bones, Vladimir reminds us. There is no point in losing heart. We cannot help the setting, however. This is a barren kingdom, and no god, or goddo, cares. As flies to wanton boys are we to the gods. They kill us for their sport, Lear tells us. But there is humanity too, and a sense of redemption and love. And this happens in Lear too. His Majesty the King, the wisest man in the land, and the most powerful, turns into a demented, blubbering wreck. He has lost everything, but has gained a sense of self he never previously had. In those frequent moments of utter simplicity with which Shakespeare reminds us of our common humanity, Lear simply asks for his shirt button to be undone. I remember watching my grandmother dying, her last words saying, simply, "Water, more water." And that's exactly what Lear is about. The simplicity of death, our common humanity. He's an old man, a dying man, a man. And this is why tragedy matters. It is not just a question of witnessing other people's misfortunes, but realizing through them that we're not exceptional when facing our own. As C.S. Lewis puts it, we read to know that we are not alone. These tragic stories of kings and princes can be read very simply as extraordinary stories about pretty ordinary people, or ordinary people who find out all of a sudden that they are destined for greatness, and that is the beginning of their tragedy.